Hi, Arcfieldweather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, February the 20th. Quite a chilly morning once again in the mid-Atlantic region. Across the much of the eastern states, we had low temperatures in the suburbs of Philadelphia, D.C., and New York City, way down in the teens in most spots. And it looks like there will be some snow or snow shower activity later today into early tonight in that D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City corridor. Even though skies are mostly clear this morning in the I-95 corridor region, there is a northern wave of energy that is going to pass right overhead that will destabilize the atmosphere by later this morning into the midday hours, and certainly can see some snow or snow shower activity, let's say from late morning, midday, on through the afternoon hours, and there can be small accumulations of a coating to an inch or so during the day into the early part of tonight. That moves on by. That low pressure that impacted the southern mid-Atlantic late yesterday and last night with some significant snowfall will intensify rapidly when that northern wave of energy kind of phases together with what is sitting now out over the open waters of the western Atlantic. That system will intensify rapidly later today and tonight, setting up yet another strong pressure gradient across the northeastern part of the nation. In other words, strong winds once again to close out the work week, in this case on Friday, with gusts up to 40 miles per hour or so throughout the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., as another cold shot moves into the northeastern states. Before we look at the short-term forecast, wanted to take a look here about 10 days out. This is a forecast of the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern by the ensemble run of the European model earlier yesterday. This is for around March 1st, which is about 10 days out. Next Saturday, right here, you can see the date. This is the verification date here is Saturday and Sunday, March 1st, March 2nd. Quite a wintry look to it. That's the main point I want to highlight here, is that this is still a wintry looking pattern for much of the central and eastern states. We really have the polar vortex, the tropospheric polar vortex at that 500 millibar level that has by this time dropped all the way south into the Hudson Bay region of Canada. The deep upper level trough extends from there all the way down into the Gulf region of the U.S. Quite a wintry look. You can see kind of wind flow in this direction here can certainly bring some cold air masses from up across northern Canada into the central and eastern U.S. in this kind of a pattern. Whether or not this kind of a trough results in a storm system in the eastern states, just have to wait and see on that. That is certainly no guarantee. It raises the possibility of it when you see a trough like this. And this is certainly a favorable pattern for more cold air outbreaks into the central and eastern states beginning late next week into the following week, which takes us into that first week of the month of March. Well, let's now get to the short-term picture here in the northeastern part of the nation. This is a radar loop from WSI's Intellicast.com. You can see even kind of a rotation in the snow echoes here out across the Ohio Valley. There's that upper level low, we'll see in a moment here, situated right over the eastern Ohio Valley. It just moves from west to east and crosses over the I-95 corridor region of the Mid-Atlantic region, and of course crosses over the rest of the Mid-Atlantic as well later on today into early tonight. That will act to destabilize the atmosphere. So even though there may be mainly clear skies this morning, for example, in southeastern Pennsylvania, you'll start to see some cumulus clouds building up by mid to late morning, and those clouds could end up producing some snow or snow shower activity from later this morning, midday, right through the afternoon hours. Again, there's a wave of energy, a pretty strong wave of energy now. Once that wave of energy moves out over the western Atlantic, it'll kind of catch up with that surface low that's out there right now, the same surface low that produced significant snow places like southeastern Virginia late yesterday. That system will then intensify rapidly and continue on an east-northeast track, but it will produce a very strong pressure gradient later on tonight into the day on Friday throughout the northeastern part of the nation. It's more snow out here over the Rocky Mountains. They've had some significant snowfall out across those higher elevations of the Rocky Mountain states over the, not only the past few days, but really the past few weeks. They've had a lot of snow from the Colorado Rockies west all the way to the Sierra Nevada mountains of eastern California. And just how cold this current cold spell is, no rain at all showing up on the continental U.S. here, no green showing up here, all blue. This is all snow out here over the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic region, and out over the Rocky Mountains. Maybe up in here there's a little bit of green showing up, but a very cold nation this morning. It's been a very cold week here with Arctic high pressure in total control over at least the eastern two-thirds of the nation. Well, that was that 500 millibar height anomaly forecast map was centered on the period of March 1st, March 2nd, which is next Saturday, next Sunday, about 10 days away. Here's the ensemble run of the European, the 5-day rolling averages of the 850 millibar temperature anomalies. Just wanted to point this out. Again, very cold to start off this 5-day period, this current 5-day period from the central states all the way to the East Coast. We'll move forward. Temperatures do relax later this week and excuse me, into next week, certainly well above normal out across the western half of the nation. They'll moderate in the eastern states later this week and into next week. Certainly will not be blowtorch type of warmth coming into the eastern part of the nation, but more of a moderate chill in the air later this week and into the at least the first half of next week. But then by the time we get to the end of next week, which is around the end of the month of February, start to see some colder than normal conditions showing up here, and this goes all the way out now into that first week of March. Some colder than normal conditions, again, setting up over the Great Lakes and across into the Mid-Atlantic, northeastern part of the nation. This is kind of muted on this particular forecast because this is an ensemble run, so when you go farther and farther out, the below normal temperatures kind of become less below normal as you go out with time. So this may end up looking cold, may end up actually being colder than is suggested here. But the overall pattern is what I'm pointing out. We're not done yet with the cold air outbreaks into the Great Lakes, into the Mid-Atlantic, into the Northeast U.S. Looks like another round could take place by late next week into the following week, which takes us to that first week of the month of March. Now here we go with that northern wave of energy. We're looking at the vorticity field. Again, these are areas in the upper part of the atmosphere, the middle and upper parts of the atmosphere where there's some spin or rotation in the atmosphere, typically associated with what we call jet streaks. Those are areas of high wind speeds in the overall jet stream, and that kind of rotation or spin in the upper part of the atmosphere, seen right here, with a vorticity forecast here for early this morning, generally tends to lead to upward motion down at the lower levels of the atmosphere. Indeed, as this upper level wave slides from west to east right into that I-95 corridor region, it will act to destabilize the atmosphere, meaning it gets colder and colder in the upper part of the atmosphere. That lapse rate steepens, and you get kind of like a summer thunderstorm situation. You get unstable conditions, and we may see some snow showers developing mid to late morning all the way lasting through the afternoon hours, maybe even a heavier snow burst or two in the Washington, Philadelphia, New York City corridor, again, as this northern wave system moves overhead. Now, notice out ahead here, there's a little bit of vorticity associated with that surface low pressure area that's already out over the western Atlantic Ocean. This ultimately kind of catches up or phases together with this. That's when that low pressure area will really intensify later today into tonight, and that'll set up a strong pressure gradient throughout the northeastern states for the day on Friday. Let's move forward in time. Here we go. It just kind of moves right over the Mid-Atlantic region by midday today, and then out to the western Atlantic, the eastern seaboard along the Mid-Atlantic region by early tonight, and that kind of catches up right in this time frame here, and that low pressure really intensifies out over the western Atlantic, setting up very strong northwest winds for later on tonight into the day tomorrow in the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. That Rocky Mountain snow associated with this wave of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere that spills out over into the middle part of the country by early part of the upcoming weekend, and basically slides to the east southeast here, reaching the eastern seaboard by the middle of the upcoming weekend. Now let's take a look at the surface maps, and here is that low already out there over the waters of the western Atlantic. This system produced some significant snow across southeastern Virginia, eastern part of North Carolina. Really it started off by producing snow over the middle Mississippi Valley, then the Tennessee Valley, and late yesterday and early last night into the southeast of Virginia, the southern half of the Delmarva. And here is snow this morning associated with that northern wave of energy. That slides to the east. This particular model run does not show much, if any, snowfall over the I-95 corridor region. I don't really believe that. I do believe there will be some snow showers, again, maybe that heavier burst of snow, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, anytime from mid to late morning on through the afternoon, maybe a coating to an inch or so. Now notice here the millibars here. It looks like about 1,000 millibars here early this morning. It starts to intensify 993 and then really intensifies to 989 by early tonight as that northern energy phases together. This really helps to intensify the surface low pressure area, and we see here these lines of equal pressure, these isobars between this high and the departing low right here, the strong pressure gradient setting up once again, setting the stage for strong northwest winds tonight, tomorrow. Mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. gusting at least up to 40 miles per hour, so we'll go out a little bit farther in time. Here we are on Friday morning, a very cold day to end the week, way below normal temperatures, and those temperatures will be accompanied by some 40 mile per hour wind gusts, producing even lower wind chill values. That Arctic high pressure area kind of settles over the mid-Atlantic region by the time we start the weekend, and will slowly modify, not a quick modification, but by the time we get to, let's say, Sunday afternoon, temperatures should be 40 plus degrees. Places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, still cold, but not as harsh as will be on Friday. And at this point, much of the nation, the 2/3 of the nation, will be relatively cold, relatively dry, but a warm-up starts to get underway. You notice here on the backside of this high, you start to see some flow coming out of the southwest throughout the middle part of the nation. That'll begin kind of a warm-up, at least a moderation in temperatures for the early part of next week, the middle part of next week. Again, looking ahead, it may turn colder again at the end of next week, going into that first week of the month of March. Colder again for the central and eastern U.S. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.